Hello, 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 everyone. Come on in, come on in, come on in. All right, you guys, we're a few minutes behind, so I'm going to jump right on in. I would like to welcome you and thank you for tuning into Let's Talk Live, an interactive show between me and you, the viewers. Tonight's discussion is on how they see us. We're going to take a look into how the Black community is seen in the eyes of other races. We're going to be addressing the heavy presence of racism, police brutality, and social injustice in our world today. Also, I want to pose the question: how can we as a race band together and help change the trajectory of how Black people are seen in the world today? I want you guys, as always, to get comfortable and get ready to chime in as I invite you to Let's Talk Live. All right. So, tonight I want to start the show off just a little bit different from what you guys are accustomed to. So, let's go ahead and let's get into the topic. So, I do want to go ahead and let you guys know that tonight's show may be a little bit aggressive with our graphics, but we want to tell the full truth and we don't want to sugarcoat anything about our topic tonight. The first video that I want to show you guys is a very unsettling video, but I think it drives the point that we are going to bring on tonight. So if we could cue up our first video to open up the show.
Hey! Hey, what are you doing?
Huh?
Jaywalking! Stop right there!
What?
Stop right there! Stop! What? No! Stop! No! Get down!
no.
Get down right now! Get down on the ground!
No.
You resisting arrest! You're resisting arrest! No,
I
cooperate!
can't breathe.
Cooperate!
I can't breathe.
You know jaywalking is against the
Mommy,
law.
help me,
It's a
Mom.
federal
I can't
offense. What are you doing? Don't you move! Don't you touch me! Don't you touch me! I'm gonna back up! Back up! This is Officer Shooter responding to a request for backup. What seems to be the problem here? This man was jaywalking. All right, stand back. Let me handle this. Son, put your hands up right now. Son, I'm asking you to put your hands up. Son, if you do not put your hands up, I'll be forced to use this firearm to dispose of your threat. Son, are you listening to me? Don't you play dumb, son. He's reaching for... All right, you asked for it, motherfucker.
So many of us around the world are outraged, heartbroken, confused, afraid, disgusted, and so much more. We've all sat back for the past few weeks and witnessed death after death of one too many Black men or women. Who am I kidding? We've watched it happen gradually for years now. Society has shown us, society continues to show us how they see us. They see us as a threat. They see us as a nuisance. They see us as every stereotype you can find. Don't dare be a Black woman with kinky hair or a loud mouth and a strong personality. To them, you're ghetto. You're the hood chick who can't amount to up to anything but the new ratchet trend. Don't dare be a Black man with a hoodie on, a gold chain, some J's, and a slight sag to your jeans. To them, you're a thug up to no good. They show their hatred for our community, and it bleeds through in every action that they do to us. Don't believe me? Why don't we ask Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland? How about Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, Philando Castillo, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor? Or what about George Floyd? Oh, that's right. We can't ask any of them because they, just like so many others, have been murdered for what I would like to call being Black. I wish the cartoon illustration was just a cruel, unusual joke, but unfortunately, it's the hard, unsettling reality on how they see us. The stereotypes that are connected to our community are unfortunately ones that are exhibited by Black people. So I ask the question again: how can we as a race band together and help change the trajectory of how Black people are seen in our society today? Ladies and gentlemen, again, I want to welcome you to another episode of Let's Talk Live. All right, guys. So, tonight, as we dive into the topic, as many of you know, my guest host for tonight is none other than the Dr. Sutton, Clarence Sutton Jr. And as we get ready to bring him on, I want to remind you guys that we ask that you comment, give your comments, ask your questions, because we're going to dive into this topic here first. So once again, I introduce to you guys none other than my wonderful guest host, Dr. Clarence Sutton Jr. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sutton.
How you doing, Mr. Hare? Good to see you today.
Good to see you. I'm glad we could get you on the live. I know you're a busy man.
And I do apologize, and I want to apologize to your guests. We had graduations here in Huntsville, and we're just finishing, so I'm in my car, but I do want to apologize to you and your guests to get situated. But thank you for being patient with me and having me on for your
Absolutely.
topic. And number two, I am very proud of you using your platform to address some issues in our community and our nation. And I'm very proud of you and your company for getting this going, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you, Doc. So while we let Doc get together, once again, you guys, we're gonna be speaking about racism and police brutality. We have all witnessed the loss of the countless Black men and women across our nation, and I know a lot of us feel many different emotions about it. We feel many different ways. I know a lot of us want to do more, or we feel like we want to be a part of helping change history, but we just may not know how. So I want to give a outlet tonight to our viewers, Doc, on a way in which we can be a part of the changes that need to take place. So one of the first questions that I want to throw out to you, Doc, is do you think that Black people are instigators to the description of our community? If so, how?
Well, that's a very big question. I do want to start off that I know that I don't have all the answers.
Mhm.
And that's the first thought. When you know and admit you don't have all the answers, you can listen. I think number one, we need to listen to the problem that you have and address it holistically. I think that there are some factors that we just can't help. How we've been perceived or how our history. That's number one. Number two, I think that's not enough education on who we are and what we are about, and our culture and where we're from. It's not taught holistically. It's not addressed holistically. And I think that's another issue. Then number two, I think internally we could do better on some of our actions and some of our platforms. Then when we have one, we can use it for different things. So it's a big question, but a question we need to address and a question we need to deal with.
Mhm. Doc, in your experience, because I know that you are an educator, you work in the education system, you are a father, you are a Black man. In your experience, how do you feel like um, how do you feel like we are labeled in society? Like, how do you feel that us as a community are labeled?
I think we can be greatly misunderstood. And I would tell you just from my career, and really I'm going from my own actions. I remember to get where I am, I had to change my dress. I cut my hair. I will admit, I'm proud to admit that when I was 18, 20, I had an earring in my ear. And to get my first job in my career, that's the first thing when I walked in the room and said, we want to hire you, but we would not hire anybody who wear an earring. You had to take it out. And again, I could have been bothered by it, a little was, but it was something I had to do at the time. You can see now, even now, I had to wear a suit to my job every day. I'm not a suit person. Most people won't believe that, but it's just things because you have to change that perception. And we haven't grown to the point I wish we are, and it's something we face where we can be accepted for who we are. And I think we've made a lot of strides for that. But I will admit we have a great setback recently with the events that we see. When you see someone who was attacked was just having a hoodie on, that lets you know we're not there yet. We're not close, and we have a long way to go. And it starts with number one, unity. And I think you mentioned that in your monologue, is that if we have to get together, we have to set the stage. We have to get more involved in our platforms. We have to start owning more platforms, putting messages out there, putting more education on the scene in our churches and our schools.
Mm-hmm.
Understand our culture. We don't talk about positive things enough. We don't sell positive things enough. We're limited to a very short month in the curriculum. You don't see us in the curriculum in most cases, especially K through 12. Those type of things we have to do, and we have to do better. And we have to be aggressive about it. And so it's a huge issue. It's something I see and some I want to change. But again, it's going to take more than me. It's going to take more than you. It's going to take us getting on the same page. And the beauty of this show, you have someone who's born in the 70s talking with a platform that I didn't have with your show. But at least we can have a dialogue together without getting offended and without a divide between ages. And that's the first thing we got to knock down so we can unify and go to the system and say, this is what we demand, or these are changes we seek, but we seeking it together.
Right. Doc, you mentioned platforms in your answering of the question. I want to show some examples of how I feel like Black people play into the stereotypes that we are connected to. So if we could cue some of the examples, I would really be appreciative of that.
Slushy, but I can't.
So with those being some of just a few of the examples of sometimes how we can play into the stereotypes that we are connected to, I want to ask you, Doc, how long will we use our platforms to portray our community in a certain light with such misogynistic views and music and the guns, the money, the we play into the connotation that we're such violent people. We're stealing and killing and destroying so much. So how long do you think we'll use those platforms, and big of how big of a difference do you think using those platforms is plays into the connotation of our community?
Well, I will say, and I hope I don't want to sound judgmental. I do want to put that disclaimer out there. I do not want to sound criticizing, but I will say we got to understand people will put out what they think we will eat. And it's about choices.
Mm-hmm.
You put a piece of cake and some broccoli in front of a child, the child is most likely going to choose the cake every time. We, number one, yeah, you hit on the issue. We need to own more of our platforms because for every image you put out, you probably could find 5 positive images, but they don't get shown. They
Mm-hmm.
don't get likes. They don't get shared. They don't go viral. A young man getting a degree or starting his own business who didn't go to school but started his own business, that post does not get viral. And it is a social media market, but it was back in my day with BET and MTV. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the media is going to put out there what is the number one influence of people is the media. And we got to understand that research shows that's the number one influence, the media. They will put out what people will watch. It's about clicks. And you know this in your platform. It's about clicks. It's
Mm-hmm.
about like. The more people who like your platform or view your platform, the more you can distribute out there to the public. We got
Right.
to understand that. And then we got to determine as a people what we're going to watch, what we're going to put out, and what we have to do. And they're going to find somebody to put out. Those images are not something that we want to glorify. And lately, and back in my day too, we have glorified that image. And we have
Mm-hmm.
to educate our community, our parents, that this is who we are. And it goes back, and I see one of the comments from my friend Dr. Davis, it goes back not knowing our history. If you go to our history when the Ghanas and the Africas, we are kings and queens, and people use that lightly, but when you know deep in our history, you know who we are. And you talk
Mm-hmm.
about that much. But again, that music does not sell.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on the charts. It's not
Mm-hmm.
played on the radio. And how do we change that narrative? And it's a difficult thing. I'm not here to say that's an easy problem. That, we just gonna stop doing it. No, it is a
Mm-hmm.
system, and we understand everything you discussing tonight. It's a systematic problem. It's a system, and how you fight a system is a two-fisted fight. You got to have activists on the outside, but you got to have somebody in that system willing to work, know the policy, know the laws, know what to do to get changes done. And we got to get into that fight and attack it from both sides. Not only do we make the music, we need to start owning the music and then owning how the music distributed. And that's a big thing, but we can do it, but we got to decide to do it. And your key word before you started was unity.
So, Doc, how do you feel that I think it's important that we as a race are able to educate another race on how to treat us. I think sometimes a lot of black people think because you tell people no, it's not okay to say the N word, and this is why. Or you tell people no, it's not okay for you to do this or mimic me like this because of XYZ. I think we think when we do stuff like that, we shucking and jiving, or we telling too much. I think it's important that we also educate people on how to treat us. I think that's very important.
And I'm being an educator. I'm the one to strive that's the key. I want to be a business owner, similar to what you're doing. I have never been educated on business. I don't know business until somebody
Mhm.
would sit me down and walk me through what business is. And not make an excuse because I got to want to listen.
Right.
That's the key thing. Not only we need to teach people, but we got to get the people who want to listen and learn about what we're speaking about. And that's the major issue. A lot of us are talking and we're fighting, but until we get some people in the place who want to listen, then you can have a productive dialogue and then we can make changes. I remember when you was in school, I don't know if you remember this, when you was in high school, that was
Oh
for the
Lord.
first time we let all three schools, color, background, different races, different sides of town, they exchanged places for a minute and you
Hmm.
all sat in the room and had a dialogue and
Hmm.
some really good information came out of those meetings. It was the first time some
Right.
people went to the west side at all in our city, the first time they ever went across town because they heard so many negative things about that side of town and got over there and enjoyed it.
Hmm.
And the same thing from us. It was the first time we went over there and but until we get to that point, and I'm telling you, it's kind of disappointing that we see we're not at that point. But to that, we got to keep fighting and keep talking. But the thing is, educating people, but get people who want that education in the same room and learn from each other. That's why I'm here tonight, because I don't know everything. I wanted to hear what you thought about these issues also to help me, because we have a generation gap.
Mm-hmm.
And the music and the videos you just played, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what's but I'm open enough to sit here and listen to you to break it
Right.
down so I can understand the people I'm working for, my kids, and maybe open some more doors or help you say, okay, this is the goal, this is what you all need. I can use my experience, expertise to get you into that door.
I'm glad you said that, Doc, because I think a lot of times when when I say a younger black man like me tries to go to a older, more seasoned black man like you, sometimes our older generation will take like that old head type of approach and like, no, you don't know nothing, you don't know, and they're not willing to hear the experience from a different perspective of what is going on our level. Like you just said, it has to be open on both ends to receive and to really start and initiate a change. Because if you can't talk to me and I can't talk to you, where are we going to get to? Because we need each other to initiate any type of change about of any level. And if we can't, I think a lot of times we can't come together in our own race with one another like this on platforms like this and have dialogues like this, because I think sometimes my generation will take a know it all, like, no, you can't tell me because I know. And sometimes the older generation will take a, you can't tell me this because I lived it, I did it, I know this. And we got to find a medium where we can really join together and work that gap right there.
I agree. I mean, and one of the prime examples is I saw in your graphics the Black Lives Matters movement.
Hmm.
My parents came out the civil rights movement.
Hmm.
And I'm glad to have, and a lot of them can be critical of the Black Lives Movement only because their techniques and their methods were different than what my father and his father did. But why
Hmm.
but why can't those two groups, instead of criticizing, because once you criticize, the unity goes away, sit
Hmm.
in a room, come up with an agenda, and say this is what we have. Because one thing I would say, your generation, you have expertise that we don't have because you're the computer generation. You
Hmm.
were born with a computer in your hand, this smartphone that we're on in your hand. I was a grown man before the Beeple came out. So, so you have a way to record some of these incidents. People understand these incidents that you discuss in your monologue happened and were recorded because somebody understood this device that you're
Hmm.
speaking to me on in my hand. So it's exposing a lot of things that we heard about, but now we see.
Hmm. Right.
Why can't we get together and use that expertise and then use our influence to make change instead of criticizing each other? But it takes me sitting in the room and you breaking down the Black Lives Movement to me and saying, this is the agenda. This is why we're doing this. So I can understand instead of just not closing the door on you and not moving, and then we can't make change. So this is an excellent point that you're doing, and something we have to grow on.
So, as far as systematic racism goes, Doc, do you feel like systematic racism will ever end?
It's I don't, it's going to be a big undertaking,
Hmm.
huge undertaking because it's a system. It's been ingrained for years. And I would say I've been blessed to work with some people who really want to make a change who don't look like you and I. I've been blessed in
Right.
really good situations, but it's a system. And even within that system, some of them who want to make a change can't make a quick change. But
Hmm.
that's why we got to keep fighting and keep working and keep talking and keep moving, because we can't relax. And I think a lot of times I would blame my generation, blame me, exact one person. I think I relaxed. There was a time in my life I did relax, and we were close to making a big change, and we relaxed, and it took a step backwards. So I think right now we don't need to relax. I think we're hot, but it's a system, and we got to understand that. Just like the system you showed, it's a two-fisted fight. We have a systematic racism system, but then we got a systematic internal love for each other that we got to work on
Hmm.
at the same time. And my question, that I've been praying and talking about reading, how do we do both? How do we get better as a community, but at the same time fight systematic racism? That I don't have the answer to that. I want to have the answer, but how do we do both?
Right.
How do we get ownership in our community at the same time fight systematic racism? How do we get economic empowerment at the same time while we fighting bad loans? How do we get
Mhm.
our kids to put their guns down at the same time fight against police brutality? That's what we have to do. That's why it's going to take more than one person, because we got a lot of things we have to get straight and start with us. I want to get a better education. I want to train. I didn't get a lot of exposure to us till I went to HBCU. I'll be honest with you. It changed my life. The best education I ever received, because I found out who I was, who I
Mhm.
could be, and then somebody who motivated me that you're not going to stop till you get there.
Right.
That was the key point. Not only they educated me, not only they put something inside of me, but they told me you're not going to stop. I'm going to be on you until you get there. And I still got some of my professors who call me now and say, "Hey, are you doing this?" And I'll be honest, that's 5 things I haven't done. So now I got, even though I'm 50, I got to get on it.
I see we have a question, Doc. The question is, what are better ways to explain to our younger males how we are perceived and how to be a change and not another statistic?
First of all, we got to be able to get them in a room.
Yeah.
I would say sometimes our approach turns them off. And maybe I need, what I did do. I have a couple of friends who were not like me, come from a different background. We came from the same neighborhood, but they are different. But they can touch a young person or get a young person in the room quicker than I can.
Hmm.
But once they get in the room, they would invite me and we can have a dialogue. So number,
Hmm.
so what happened if I don't have their relationship? A lot of times we cut off people because they're not like us,
Hmm.
or they don't dress like us or talk like us. But you stymie our growth. So number one, we gotta get somebody who they identify with to get them in the room so we can have a dialogue. And then number two, we can't criticize them first.
Hmm.
We come in criticizing them
Uh-huh.
instead of applauding them on the gifts they have. And
Right.
then, okay, these are some things you could do better.
Hmm.
And then once they try to do better, let's support them.
Celebrate them. Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
celebrate them. Let's support them. How would an artist who sell rap, say rap that we don't want to hear or the images, but he sells 1 million copies, and then he come back and make a clean record, same beats, change the lyrics, change the videos, and he sells 2 copies?
Hmm.
He's gonna put a bad taste in the mouth and say, "Well, I'm trying to do right, and this is what I get." So we
Yeah.
have to support when they make a change and do something positive. Let's support them.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say, Doc. I was gonna say I think a lot of times when coming at someone, we got to learn how to come to people in love first, because we can't get anywhere knocking at somebody's head. No, you don't do this, being down at them. I think it's very important to come to people in love first, because when you meet people with love, that's how you can start to build trust and build that correction. Because when if I lead by example and come first with love and tell you try it this way, let's change it and do it like this. Understand that we can't do this because of this. If I come to you like that, you're much more prone to receive me that way than me coming at you, nagging you, knocking at you, tearing you down. Like, now you don't do this, now you don't do that. I think we should come in love first, and that's how we build that connection that you talk about. And then, like you said, when you get it right, celebrate. We kind of just don't pay people attention when they change. When you see them trying to grow, when you see them trying to be the person that you want them to be, we act like they were supposed to, but we don't really support, like you said, and that's what we need to do. We need to support one another. We need to celebrate one another. Don't just leave people at the wayside after you push so hard for them to be different.
We do, and we set a false standard for success, which makes us feel like only one person can be successful.
Hmm.
You can be successful on a talk show host and a platform, and I can be successful in education. Doesn't mean that we both not successful.
Hmm.
And that's what we have to do. We have to redefine how we look at success. We have to redefine how we look at situations. We really got a lot of work to do. And again, I keep telling you that I'm proud of you using your platform to do that. And we need more people to get on the platform and use it for change. And you're doing that. And I can't tell you, because even I know I'm not gonna go too long. I know your show, but you and I. Your first encounter with me was a negative encounter.
Absolutely.
You
My
got in
first four
trouble.
encounters with you was
Correct.
negative.
But if I had written you off, I had the power. I did have the power at the time to write you off.
You did.
But because I saw potential and I want you to be potential, I want you to be successful, I did all I could to correct you, but correct you in a way that it didn't destroy you. And if we can start doing it in our community and start doing it in life, and everybody correct people, but don't destroy them. That's what discipline really is. Discipline is correcting somebody, but not destroying, pouring them to them, and then look at this same person got a platform and doing change, making change for somebody else. And that's what I'm most proud of.
Thank you, dog.
I am very
I see
proud
we
of you.
have a, I see we have another question. The question is, has the disease of systematic racism also spread throughout the African American community?
Well, I wouldn't say the word racism, but I will say we have a dislike, systematic dislike in our community that we got to work on. And that's why I'm telling the internal fight. We do have a age dislike. They can get prevalent. And I do like, and I hate to bring it up though, the Willie Lynch letter is very profound when you look how it was a disagreement among age groups. It was a disagreement on color complex, and we still fighting that. Even though we're doing better, we're still fighting that. We fight each other on looks, culture, background, talk, and style. And it's something that is great. It's hurting our churches. If we just be honest, our churches are now almost built on age gaps. You got older churches and you got
Mm-hmm.
on 5 young
Newer
churches. But
church.
rare,
Mm-hmm.
very rare can find a church that have a good mixture.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're right.
it's spread everything. When we don't do anything, it's going to destroy us. It hurt us with business. We don't own stuff in our communities. It hurt us in school. I mean, so it's hurt us, and again, it's a system. I agree with the question. It's a system, and we let it spread, and we got to put a stop to it. When we're killing people over color, the color of shirt that you wear, and the name you claim, or what street you from, and you don't own the block, we are in trouble.
Hello. I agree, Doc. So Doc, I want to ask you, um, right now with the cards that we have been dealt, uh, what more can be done that hasn't already been tried?
Well, number one, I think we really have to get back to educating people
Hmm.
and a practical education for our people from pre-K through 12. It starts at the foundation, and I'm talking
Yeah.
about practical education. As far as loving yourself, for as buying stuff, for who you
Yep.
are and your background and where you from, a true representation where you from. All the people what you have invented. We've done some big things that we don't put out there, but start from there. We got to build gifts. We really have to start, and then we got to get people in place. What I mean by place, we got to vote. We got to move people. We got to build people. We got to put people in place that can make change and then support them. Truly support them. And if they're not right, put them in the room. Let's correct them. But we got to start. We got to start in our community. We got to get out the building. We got to go. We got to get uncomfortable.
Right.
It's uncomfortable to be on this show because I'm nervous. You're a different platform. But for me to be uncomfortable led to a dialogue between you and I. We
Yeah.
need more people to get uncomfortable.
Okay. So very quickly, I have another special guest appearance that I want to do very quickly. Doc, we're gonna come right back to you. Hold tight for just a second. So, you guys, if you paid attention to the flyer, you will see that underneath me and my beautiful picture on the flyer, shameless plug, uh, the hashtag says "I will breathe." Um, my younger brother, by the name of Carmelo Hare, is the person who said this to me, and his his description for why he wants to start this campaign was so profound to me. I had to have him come onto the show so that he could tell you all, like he told me. So I want to bring on very quickly my brother Carmelo Hare.
I felt as if we should flip the script and say, "I will breathe." When I hear "I can't breathe," it seems oppressive to me. The statement "I will breathe," in my opinion, is saying that I will breathe. My life matters. I will make it to walk across that stage to make my grandmother proud, to make my family proud. I will succeed in life. I will, be able to enjoy riches and fame. I will, you know, uh, I will make a difference. I will not be another victim of police brutality. I will not let my stress level break me. I will not let my skin color define who I am or what people feel or think about me. I will continue to strive each day. Nowhere should there be a I can't in the statement. As the Bible says in Job, the 22nd chapter, the 28th verse, you should declare a thing and it shall be established unto you. So I encourage you all to let's declare and decree that we will breathe and we will not be another victim of police brutality.
So once again, you guys, I will breathe. So that's the campaign that we want to start today because I am a firm believer that you say what you sow. And when what we put out there in the atmosphere is exactly what we will receive. So when we share this video today, when you guys share this video or you come out of this live and you enjoyed this show, I want you to share this video with the hashtag I will breathe. We will not continue to see this trend. We will not continue to see so many of our brothers and sisters dying at the hands of police brutality and racism and the social injustices that we are dealing with today. We will breathe, and can't will not be in our vocabulary. So that is the strike that I want us to take today. From this moment forward, I want us to hashtag I will breathe to show that we will be the difference. We will spark the change and we will be exactly everything that God has for us in our lives. We will not end our lives at the hands of police brutality. All right, you guys. So if we can bring Doc back on the screen, please. Doc, I wanted to know what did you think about Carmelo's "I Will Breathe"?
I'm very proud of Carmelo through that scripture in there. I almost did
Yeah,
it. Woo, 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 look at him. No, but I'm proud. I think that's the next move. We got to take a tragedy, use that tragedy to thrust us into the next atmosphere, and I think that's
yeah.
that's the next way to go. Make a dramatic change, and
Hmm.
and that's where it starts with somebody like you and Carmelo. Got the
Yeah.
energy, you got the smarts. Let's go do it.
All right, guys. Do we have any more questions before I let our guest host leave for the night? Any more questions right now, guys? If you have any questions on the topic that you want to ask me or Doc, please post them in the comment section very quickly. Um, but to wrap up in the conversation, Doc, Black people deserve respect and acknowledgement that our lives and cultures matter just as much as anyone else's. And I wanted to bring you on tonight to highlight many of the points that we have that we can come together no matter the age difference or generation difference. We can come together and we can spark conversations about change. We do have good black men and good black images that we can look to that don't go with the stereotypes that are so profoundly put out of black people. So, um, Doc, I want to thank you. I thank you so much for not only being a strong black male example for so many people. I also want to thank you for being a very close role model for me. Someone I can call on whenever I need. Somebody who I can always look to as a father figure and a mentor. I appreciate you so much because I wouldn't be able to sit on this platform if it wasn't for the guidance and love and correction that I have gotten from you for so many years. So I want to tell you thank you from me and from so many people I know I speak for. Thank you so much, Dr. Sutton, for being that type of strong example for us.
Well, I think it's been an honor. I would say, I would tell people I didn't start off like this. Um, it took a big change and somebody speaking it to me also. I did start off selfish, um, but we can't be selfish during this time. You got to pour into somebody else. You got to support somebody else. I think that's the first step. But we stop looking into trying to be get it for ourselves, but get it
Mm-hmm.
for us, and we
Mm-hmm.
don't make it till all of us make it. I think
Yeah.
that's really where we need to go, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm very proud of you. Don't stop, get it. Like Two Live Crew and Luke said, don't stop, get it. Make a change. You can do it.
I'm gonna address this last question with you, Doc, and then I'm gonna let you head out. The question is,
All
how
right.
do we effectively educate those who look like us on today's climate, who believe it is our own fault that these things are taking place? Basically, how to combat only if you woulda from our own people.
Be honest with you, that's a lack of education. That's a lack of
Hmm.
knowing what all we went through, from going from coming over through the slave ship, going through the Middle Passage. I mean, if you study that, you will understand. We can't say that. If you understand the years of oppression, going through Reconstruction, then to Jim Crow, to where we are now, Voting Rights Act, and how they repeal to unfair lending practices. You we have to educate people, so people who say that, I was challenged them to really study the history. Then understand you can't say that we come a long way, but we got a long way to go. But that we cannot say is our fault.
Hmm.
But we can say we can make a change, and we're not gonna stop till we make a change. But we are going through years, centuries of oppression that we're fighting and we overcome and we're moving. And so I really think we got to educate, but we got to start small.
Hmm.
We got to start educating people pre-K. You know, what I mean, starting young, because some hate is a learned behavior. I do believe, and it started when somebody was young and they grew up in it. We got to educate our people who we are, what we can be, and what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
And
also
that's
just
why I
want to
speak.
say, you can't, you can't get everybody in one breath. We can't get everybody to see the change. We can't get everybody to see where they're missing education. We can't get everyone to see where that's not okay. So don't I would say don't trip over not gaining everybody. Like Doc said earlier, you got to get the people who are willing to be educated. You got to get the people in the room who are willing to listen and who are willing to work towards the change. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Dr. Sutton, once again, I want to thank you for being my guest host for tonight. Um, Hopefully, we can see you back on the show again sometime. Since you don't have to be nervous anymore, you done broke the ice now.
Hey, I do it. You know, us old folks they get used to social media. You know, I'm not as smooth with some of these other people, but I enjoyed it, man, and I'm proud of you and your crew, your business. Like I said, man, keep doing it because we need positive images. We need a platform that people can have a dialogue, and then we need to support it. So I ask people to support you, watch you, share you, log on, give comments and feedback, tell
Please,
people
please.
about your show because that's a start, and we need more like it.
Thank you so much, Doc. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let Doc go, and we'll see you again soon, Doc.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of our show. Once again, thank you, Dr. Sutton, for coming on and being the guest for with us this evening. I hope you guys have enjoyed this show. I was very nervous about this show. This show has been brewing on my spirit for a few weeks now. And I am so glad that it was executed to a level of excellence that I feel is a level of excellence tonight. I hope you have learned something because I have. I hope you feel empowered to continue to make changes in your own strides in our community. Um, Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Tomorrow, I will be dropping week 2 of It's a Process Weight Loss Journey. I am trying to get this weight off of me, y'all, and it is a journey. So enjoy the week 2. It will be posting on my YouTube page tomorrow. So make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube page. Also, if you missed any part of tonight's show, you can catch the replay on the YouTube channel. The link will be posted on the Let's Talk Live Facebook page after the show wraps. If you have a topic that you want to see discussed on our show, please, please, please message the Let's Talk Live Facebook page. Or you can email me at keeptalkalive@gmail.com. Once again, that is keeptalkalive@gmail.com. If you have a topic or you have an idea or you want to see a specific person or you yourself want to be a guest on the show, please send me a message. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we can come up with. All right. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Make sure you share this video, hashtag I will breathe. Everybody who is anybody, share this video and hashtag I will breathe. Once again, thank you to my team. Thank you, Carmelo, for coming on as a guest tonight. I appreciate you. I love you. Uh, that has been our show tonight, you guys. I will see you all next week on another episode of Let's Talk Live. Good night, everyone.